I am Steve Clemons. I run the foreign policy programs at the New America Foundation and write the political blog, The Washington Note. I'm here with Sir Richard Dalton, who was Great Britain's ambassador to Iran from 2002 to 2006. It's interesting to note that when he was there, Iran suspended its nuclear enrichment and development program. I made the comment in a program a short while ago that once he left, everything went to hell in a handbasket. He's now an associate director of Middle East programs at Chatham House in London and has recently put out this editorial report, Iran Breaking the Nuclear Deadlock. Richard, it's great to spend a few minutes with you. How do you see what's going on in these very dramatic scenes in Iran, and what do you think is happening at the very top with Khamenei, Ahmadinejad, Mousavi, Rafsanjani? If you can give us a quick thumbnail sketch of what you think the big stakes are.
I'll do my best, bearing in mind that today may bring something which falsifies my forecasts. I believe that with respect to the immediate decisions that the leadership has to take about who's going to run Iran, I think we'll find that President Ahmadinejad is inaugurated, that his election is declared as being valid, and I believe at this point the system will start to settle down. I don't see protest in the streets being able to change that decision, and I don't see that the leadership itself will be so fractured that Khamenei has to backtrack. The reason I say that is that this is primarily a dispute about who runs the government and how, in matters of policy. That's the main driver. It's not a dispute about the long-term future of the Islamic Republic and the balance within its constitution. What about protest? Well, I think it will reappear at some point when occasion arises. I think something has changed permanently in Iran in that both the legitimacy and the authority of the government has been damaged. I think it likely that the leadership of Iran will perceive that.
Will the leadership of Iran fear its people?
They have been nervous about their people for some time now, and they've seen the potential for mishandling of political developments to bring millions out onto the streets. So they face a choice between the mixture as before in terms of policy and personnel, or adjusting to try and achieve better results in the economy and to give a greater sense of hope for the future to broad swathes of the population who at present do not have any hope. This could turn out, therefore, as a rather more centrist government than the one that Ahmadinejad has presided over the last few years. That is one scenario which might be just a little bit more likely than the other scenario of continuity and very little change in terms of policy, internally or externally.
Just to finish up, what is your advice to say the British government, to the United States with regard to how to approach their largest strategic objectives right now, which is to deal and negotiate with Iran and to try to preempt this nuclear weapons course that has so many worried?
My advice is stay the course, stay united in the international community, continue to work through the International Atomic Energy Agency, continue to press the package of proposals from 2005 to 2008, which are already on the table, but be prepared to modify them in order to achieve a final arrangement for Iran's civil nuclear program, which is acceptable within Iran itself. Clearly, we would like to see Iran agree to much greater monitoring and supervision of its international programs in return for acceptance that it should be treated as a normal member of the International Atomic Energy Agency with the right to develop civil nuclear activities and to get the assistance of the IAEA in doing that. Additional points, be prepared for it to take some time. I don't see the value of placing a deadline on the talks, and accept that there should be rather wider consultation in the region than was achieved in the first 6 years of this initiative. It's important that countries close to Iran and major countries beyond Iran have a sense that this is a negotiation that's important for their interests, because the future of the Non-Proliferation Treaty is vitally important. There's going to be a review conference next year and what happens with Iran plays into that, and plays into the long-term security of all of us, and freedom from the fear of nuclear weapons.
Given your record of service, Richard, and your reputation as a great strategic thinker, one of the debates that often plays out in terms of U.S.-Israeli relations is this sort of increasing notion that Iran is on some sort of a suicidal track, that it's engaging in things that are so in violation of its own interests, regional stability, and we know some of the things that Ahmadinejad has referenced with regard to Israel. I believe that Iran is a shrewd calculator of strategic national interests, but I'd be interested, given your record, how you look at Iran. Do you look at it as a suicidal nation, a suicidal leadership bent on a certain kind of power projection, or is there a rational interest calculating collective there, even with Ahmadinejad and Khamenei running the ship that we can work with?
Iran is a normal nation with respect to having core interests which it seeks to protect, so I agree with you. But it's an unusual nation in having an ideology which gives it a vanguard position in a historical movement in accordance with its own views. And that historical movement is to further repel the influence of the United States, of imperialism, and to ensure that justice seeking throughout the Middle East and elsewhere rests on the close relations between Iran and those countries, as well as the will of the people of those countries. So yes, Iran has ambitions to be not only to be treated seriously as a regional partner, but also to affect the destiny of its region. My contention would be that its capacity to affect the destiny of the region is very limited, because its own religion, predominantly Iran is a Shia country, its own historic position, with many countries being rather nervous about the effect of power from the Iranian plateau, its relationships more widely in the region mean that it's not in a position to dictate the outcome of the major issues in its region, but it does have a legitimate interest and should therefore be consulted.
Rich, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you
so much.